Hello, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV back with another video, and in this video we are going to be reviewing the brand new Kid Cudi album, Insano. Going into this, just to get some intro stuff out of the way, some kind of like pre-album listening stuff, going into it, I didn't really have that many expectations. Kid Cudi has failed. He hasn't, not necessarily failed, but he hasn't really hit for me recently. That Intergalactic album was garbage. Obviously, Man on the Moon 3 was pretty good, but that was a while ago. That was like 3-4 years ago. But I don't know. I was hoping maybe he could deliver this time, and to an extent he kind of did, but there's really nothing special about this album. I'm just going to get that out of the way right now. This probably isn't going to be that long of a video. It's not really going to be that in-depth because I wasn't a huge fan of this album overall. But the two singles were pretty lackluster. The one with Pharrell and Travis Scott was actually pretty good. It was solid. And the cover is garbage. That doesn't really matter, but it's a solid feature list though. So, I was hoping kind of going into this that with the features, this album could be enhanced a little bit. But I don't know, man. I'm just going to give you guys thoughts track by track and then kind of give you guys some generalities, just like an official review at the end of the video. So, yeah, let's go. So starting off with track number 1, it is Often I Have These Dreams. There's some pretty cool DJ drama action, and obviously DJ drama has a hand in some of the tracks in this project. It's a cool beat. The flow isn't it, though, and I feel like that's a case with a lot of the tracks. The production is pretty phenomenal on this record. I feel like Kid Cudi did really good with beat selection and stuff like that, but yeah, this song is not great. Sorry I didn't have the album art up there before. It's not great, but track 2 is Keep Bouncing, and honestly, the beat on this track is super crazy. I really like the beat on this track. Cudi just can't flow on this thing, and it's similar sentiments to Often I Have These Dreams. The beat is bizarrely good. There's a lot of tracks on here actually that are weirdly good. Cudi kind of has this weird vibe to him sometimes, where he gets in these weird pockets. And it's okay. It works a decent amount of the time. So this is definitely a case, but there's nothing special. Again, the track reviews are going to be super short here. Track 3 is Get Off Me. Trav has been killing it as of late. In 2024 already, he has been going crazy, working with Playboi Carti and working with 21 Savage's album just recently, which I reviewed on the channel. Make sure you guys go check that out. But, yeah, now we're talking here. This kind of picked the album up off its feet and kind of started to get some momentum. The feature's pretty solid. Obviously not as good as other Travis Scott features we've heard recently. But the synths are really grand, and I really like that. That's definitely a highlight here. They went kind of crazy towards the end. They showed a lot of chemistry on the end of the track, and I think that was pretty cool. So, yeah. At track 4, we have Most Ain't Dennis, and this features production from Benny X, who has obviously had a great last couple of years, starting his career off with Yeet, obviously, and then kind of transition. I'm not going to edit this video much. I'm not going to put like, oh, Yeet. I'm not going to do all that. I'm just going to put the track names and move on. I'm not trying to disrespect Cudi, with this review. It's just a respectful opinion, But it's a pretty cool track. It's got a little, they kind of go overkill with the drums. I think the production is kind of the problem here. Benny X is going to get old eventually. I feel like his sound is definitely going to get saturated, but I don't know. There were some really weird moments, very quirky, weird vibes from Kid Cudi coming from this track. I don't know if I like it that much. Maybe on again, I say this in every album review, but if I re-listen to albums, it'd probably be pretty good. So, or good the second time at least. Yeah. Coming in at the next track 5, I believe, is Wow. We have the A$AP Rocky feature. I love that he's on here. I'm not sure where his album is, though. We don't need any more features from A$AP Rocky at this point. We need this man to drop an album. I don't know what is going on. There's more involvement from DJ Drama here. The hook just isn't good. But I think, A$AP Rocky kind of saves the track a little bit with a solid verse, solid feature. It's nothing special, though. Next track is Electro Wave Crazy, and by the way, Porsche's Topless and At the Party are the two singles, so I'm not going to review those for the actual album review here, because I think I actually talked about them on my New Music Fridays. But Electro Wave Crazy, super goofy beat. I'm not sure. It's not too bad. The flute sound was really cool in the beat. There's just aspects of some of these beats that I like, and it's crazy because I haven't really commented on the artistry being that good here. I think it's just the production that really takes over for this album. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of disappointed here. Not gonna lie. The next track is A Tale of a Night. It's got kind of a hype vibe to it. It kind of picks the album back up. It's got like this Madden soundtrack kind of vibe to it. I don't know. I think Kid Cudi just needs to give it up. I don't have anything to say here. I'm not even really that motivated to edit this video. Like, I know that sounds kind of shitty to say, but we're going to get it out to you guys either way, but man, I don't know. Next is Cud Life. Cool stuff kind of going on in the background with the beat. It sounds cool, but again, nothing special. Nothing that's going to flatter me. Nothing that's going to take me off my feet. Like, this album is supposed... Like, Kid Cudi is supposed to be a very new artist, a genre-bending artist, and we don't get that here. There's a lot of generic beats kind of sprinkled throughout this album. I think that's a huge problem. But, dude, I don't know. Next, we get Too Damn High, and we get Lil Yachty on here, which is super hype, which is super cool. A lot of people, I gotta cough a lot, but a lot of people are really anticipating this feature because they both have kind of had some similar vibes recently. Lil Yachty's kind of stepped into another lane and has been successful. The beat is crazy. This is probably one of the best beats on the album and a track I might return to. Dude, I don't know if this has hardly any replay value, but I love Yachty's vocals recently with a little wavering. It just shows some like vocal skill. It shows a range. It's really good. It's a weird pocket for Yachty, but it works. Like up to this point, this is probably the best song on the album. I don't know if I can really say that right now, but I'm just going to. So yeah. Next is Gotcha Gone. It's a really good song, but there's not much to say about it. It's super short. It almost kind of gives you like an interlude vibe. I know I'm not commenting like Fantano, like, oh, look at these glittering drums, because this album is lulling and it's kind of boring. But this song's good. But you have to keep in mind this album is 21 songs in its entirety in an hour 4 minutes, and that long of music from an out of prime Kid Cudi. I don't know, man. Next track is Mr. Kula. This isn't really Cudi's vibe. Like, it doesn't match what he's done in his career. The beats are super hard hitting, almost too hard hitting. And I wouldn't mind that for certain other artists, but Kid Cudi, that's just not his niche. That's not what he does. It's fine to go out and go in different directions, but Kid Cudi's like way too talented and has way too good of a discography to just kind of settle for stuff like this. You know, I mean, it sounds good, but it's super weird coming from Kid Cudi. Like, if this was someone else's album, it might have been better, and it might have sounded more natural, but I don't know, maybe I'm contradicting myself. You guys can let me know in the comments. So next is Freshie. I mean, this is kind of more his speed. This is more Cudi's zone. The synths are great. You know, he's flowing really well. The drums are cool. Overall, Freshie's a really good track and definitely a highlight on the album. And I feel like the second half of the album just kind of jump starts it. Like, just the first half you're kind of like waiting for a moment, and then the second half there's quite a bit of them. So I think Kid Cudi did really good on the second half of the album, not as much the first. Next is Tortured. There's some really nice chords on here. This is a pretty good track. It could be potential to be a highlight in his discography, honestly. I mean, it's got a cool little vibe to it. It's definitely like Kid Cudi's thing. And again, like I said, I don't want artists to just have a thing and like stick to one thing, but for the flow of the album's sake, you have to have a couple tracks like that, and it doesn't seem like we get enough here, which is why I'm not super positive. I'm not negative, but I'm not positive on this thing, you know. Getting into X and Cud. This is the first X feature we've seen in rap and music in general in a minute, so that's really, really cool. Obviously, X is super talented. His vocals are absolutely amazing. And the Twitter discourse was that this was like a sample, and Cudi was just adding some mid to it. And if it's a sample, that's kind of fucked up, really. Like, if Cudi took this from an XXXTentacion track, that would be kind of fucked up. Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. But X did his job. That's all that matters. It's just, I don't know. This album is so boring, man. I'm like bored making this video. Next is 7, and we have Tunchi. We have Lil Wayne. This is really sick. Really cool collab. Kind of guys that came up in the same type of era. Maybe not the exact same. I mean, their career starts are about, not like their primes are about 3 or 4 years apart. Maybe I'm wrong there, but Yeah, it's kind of cool to get rappers from the same decade, sort of. It's cool, but like up to this point, I was just kind of over listening to the album. It's just okay, nothing too much. I mean, Lil Wayne definitely had the better part, and he didn't do too bad. But it's like, can we just end the album already? Like, and that's a bad thing. But man, compared to 21 Savage's album, this is just a lull. This is just long, man. I don't know. Getting into funky wizard smoke, very bizarre beat, very bizarre vibe, but it's a weirdly good track. It's just, it's more quirky, Cudi. We get that quite a bit on this album. Man, I don't know, man. It's good though. I would say this is a good track. So, yeah, man. Nothing more though. Next we get Rager Boys, another Thug feature, which is super surprising again. The acoustic guitar is fire. I really like it, and it's kind of got like the trap elements. And Young Thug actually delivered a pretty solid feature here. Yeah, it was a cool infusion of sounds like Thug and Kid Cudi. You wouldn't think it'd work, but they make it work in a sense here. So that's pretty dope. Man, this cover looks like they made it on photo editor or something. I don't know. Oh, we have a couple more tracks. Next track is Blue Sky. I mean, there's a weird conspiracy about this in 21, second to last track, having the word sky in it, like blue and red sky. I don't really care about that. I'm not here to talk about that. But this is a pretty cool sounding track. I mean, the hums are finally making their presence known. This is definitely one of the better songs on the album. Yeah, this is a really good song, actually. So, nothing bad to say about this one. Last but not least is Hit the Streets of my Nikes, and this is going to be the last one before we talk about a review, generalities. But it's not bad. Again, just kind of ready for the album to be over at this point. Like, I was already kind of bored. Like, he didn't really offer too much new to me. The auto-tune is really nice here. Like, it's really well engineered. The track just sounds good. There's a distorted sample going on in the background that I like quite a bit. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty solid. Let's just get into the general review. So speaking in generalities, look, I don't really care for this album. That's all I really have to say. Like, if you want to click off the video now, you can, because I'm probably just going to deliver a bunch of BS about this. New music is new music. This is just a super pointless album. Like, we've heard vibes like this before. Like, the thing about last year, close to this time, is we got Lil Yachty's Let's Start Here, which I have on vinyl right down here. This shocked the world. Like, why? Oh, that's dusty. Oh my lord. This thing looks ancient now. Look at this. Genre bender. Like, this dude went crazy at this time last year. I got dust all over the place. Like, where is that this year? Where is that fire? I know last year, and I said in my album review and stuff, that the last year wasn't strong. There's dust flying around the camera because of that, but yeah, without good beats, I'm not sure if this project has anything to it. I mean, maybe some re-listening could do the trick. I'm not sure. Oh my god, it's so dusty in this room now. But consistent production is quite unique to Cudi. I guess you could say that. I guess you could say that's kind of a highlight. But at the same time, it's uniquely not good for Cudi. Like, it doesn't make sense for him to be making songs like this. The tracks are inconsistent, though. I mean, sometimes he flows, other times it's awkward. Like, he can't find a rhythm on this thing, it seems like. Like, his cadences are so off on some of these records. I feel like this album is kind of meant for casual listeners. This isn't an album you can closely listen to for words and stuff. Maybe you could listen to it in the background while you're studying or playing basketball, or like how I would probably use it. Maybe that's not a bad thing all the way, but I don't know. I feel like with Kid Cudi, you have to kind of find the vibe for it, and I don't know if you really can by like actually listening to it. Like, I don't know. Cudi definitely has classics. I just don't care for his music as much anymore overall. Like, after what he did with Intergalactic in this album, I just don't really care. I'm kind of over him making music. I'm not saying he should retire, and I think he's actually like talked about doing that a couple of times, but I just like don't care anymore for it, you know? It's not something I need anymore. There's a new generation of rappers, and this obviously happens all the time in music. This might turn into like kind of the Don Toliver Lovesick of this year. If you saw my list, like, this could possibly grow on me. I'm not saying it doesn't have potential to like grow on me or anything, because that would just be a flat out lie if I said that. But I'm not too high on it right now. So we'll have to see how this goes as the year goes on. I mean, it's very generic. I mean, I figured Cudi would genre bend a little, but this is some super typical hip hop music. There's nothing special going on here. And again, this is similar sentiments I shared while going track by track. The production is really good, and obviously the album gets better as you get through it. So that's a thing. Like, that's something you can say, but I just don't know. I don't really get why he would release this album. It doesn't seem necessary. It was a pretty big event for music. I mean, people were hyped for it, but why this why this type of music? I don't know. Maybe it's just preference at the end of the day. Maybe I'm just yapping, but I don't really have much to say. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, or don't. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. If you're like that radical and you like don't agree with me so much as to like not supporting me, that's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to. I'm not demanding you to do that, but I just don't see where he was going with this. I don't see why this album was released. New music is new music. I guess I will take it at the end of the day. We have a Steph Curry gameplay video coming out tomorrow. I'm just going to edit this real quick and throw it on the channel because, my God, I'm just bored of talking about this, like even acknowledging it, you know.